Alright guys, thank you again for joining me. This is Cat's Pajamas and bringing you guys some more bonus coverage out of the round of 128 here from the IPL Season 2 qualifiers week number 1. Hope you guys all got that straight. And this is, oh, look at that. Nerchio already me beat Whitera. Yes, Whitera, the special tactics master himself, did fall to Nerchio in the qualifier number 1, but never fear, Whitera did manage to qualify at a later qualifier, so he will indeed be in IPL Season 2. So this is a matchup between sixjaxMajOr, formerly known as Gosi Terran. He is spawning down here at the bottom left-hand corner of Zelnaga Caverns. He's our pink Terran player. His opponent, up here in the top right-hand corner, wearing Destinier as the account name. That is, in fact, EmpireNerchio. So Nerchio versus Major. Let's see what both these players have in store for us. Both these players, excellent players. And because of the way the random seeded brackets worked, you can already see that Nerchio faced Whitera in the round of 256, and now he has to face sixjaxMajOr in the round of 128. No small feat for that player. So we'll see what he has in store for us. Major pretty predictably going to open, I would imagine, with a 2-rack style play. He could completely throw me off and go for gas, but nope. It looks like this is the same build we saw him play against another Zerg player earlier in this qualifier, where he goes for the double 11 racks and then goes for a, I believe it was Wreck Dark Cell who he did this to, and then just goes ahead and rushes for a bunker and Marine Rush. So Nerchio, we're going to see if he's ready for this. He too is hatching firsting. None of those really work, guys. I have to admit I'm a little bit sick, so trying to do what I can, so bear with me if all of a sudden I start speaking in tongues like I just tried to do right there. Nonetheless, hatch rate coming down. We do have spawning pool coming down as well, so Nerchio going to have that in place. sixjaxMajOr, on the other hand, just about to finish up his second barracks, and he'll rush in with a couple of Marines here in a second. And he also pulled a few SCVs, if I recall correctly, in the Wreck Dark Cell match. So he desperately wants to be able to get that bunker up. Oh, very nice control there. Does manage to take out the drone. However, did the drone see the double racks? Yes, did indeed see the double racks. Looks like already a few drones are being pulled preemptively, but Major not showing his hand at the moment. Now Nerchio just finishing up his spawning pool and starting to grab a little bit of gas. Only has 2 on gas at the moment. He's going to wait a little bit on Zergling speed, more worried about this run of SCVs and Marines that's making his way up to the top here. Nerchio already throwing down a spine crawler, and because of the delayed timing of this bunker, that could prove to be pretty effective. That spine crawler already about 35 seconds away from being done. Just going to finish at about the same time as this bunker. Here come the rest of the units, though, for Nerchio, and that should be enough to go ahead and pull back Major. Major should run away. It looks like he is going to lose. Well, actually, manages to take out a couple of units, but Nerchio holding himself quite well. I think only lost 1 or 2 drones there. And the rest of this looks like it's going to get cleared up. But the bunker's finished! Uh-oh! And sixjaxMajOr does manage to get inside the bunker. And that's pretty critical. There are just 1 SCV back here for the time being. We'll see if sixjaxMajOr runs any other ones up. However, the spine crawler is going to be in range. And yes, indeed, we see the bunker taking some hits. That SCV needs to come back and repair. There we go. Damage already being done to the hatchery, but Nerchio playing this so cool. He has had to produce quite a few Zerglings. He's playing this so very well. And that bunker is going to fall with just 1 SCV there to repair. Major will do his damage. He's going to go right back to work on that hatchery. Oh, gets a little bit too far in range of the spine crawler there. Zerglings come back out, manage to pick off 1 Marine. This bunker now on fire. And that's going to fall with just a couple more hits here. Looks like, there we go. 1 more hit. And there it goes. So unfortunately, that's not going to be recovered. A few Zerglings still here for Nerchio. Alright, let's take a look and see what happened through all of that. Well, nope, never mind. Major is not done doing damage. He's going to move right back up, trying to take himself out a couple of drones, but he's going to move in range of the spine crawler if he's not careful. There we go. Spine crawler takes out 1 unit there. Looks like Nerchio may decide to run up with everything. And Major is losing quite a few Marines here, but he's doing his damage. Supplies still in Major's favor. He is up, now tied, and now falling behind. So the Marines finally do get cleared up. And Nerchio does manage to save most of his drones, to be honest. So he is up by 1 worker, but of course Major did quite a bit of economic damage because he's able to establish his command center. his second orbital command. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be from here on out. Nice job by Nerchio to go ahead and drop down that spine crawler a little bit further, but he's got to worry about a little bit of a marine run by. It'll be pretty easy for Major to come up around here, around the left side, and start picking off drones. However, there are primarily marines on the field, so Nerchio going to go right to a baneling nest, and that should keep him fairly secure about unupgraded marines. However, Major is going over to double factory build. And I believe he followed up Blue Flame Hellions after his initial marine attack in the second game against Dark Cell. So we'll see if he does the same thing here. All signs point to yes. And Major does manage to take out one more Zergling at the loss of almost no health on his marines. So let's see here. Major is dropping down 3 mules, or 2 mules at a time, but of course mules last slightly longer than the amount of energy that's on the orbital commands, or the amount of energy that it takes. It looks like Major is going to drop down another tech, or drop down a tech lab here, build another barracks at the front. Already we see Hellions coming out, and there's Blue Flame Hellion on the way. So Nerchio, he has finished his baneling nest. Only now going to layer, so it'll be a while before any sort of baneling speed or anything like that is able to come up. And he has a good bit of units ready to receive another attack. However, the very, very fast Hellions, again, will have the option to just kind of running around the left side here and doing a bunch of damage. Nerchio trying to produce as many drones as he can. He has gone ahead in worker count. There we go, the last couple finishing. He's up 38 to 29, in fact, with just 1 mule on the ground at this time. He is actually ahead of economy on Major, but as soon as Major Maynards over some SCVs, drops down double mules again, he should pull slightly ahead. And poor Zergling does go down. Orbital Command is able to establish itself in a bunker going up for Ghost of Terran at this point. Nerchio, on the other hand, is going to try and take out these destructible rocks. Wants to go to a relatively quick third, and for that I don't begrudge him. And now it looks like Nerchio is going to have moved the positioning of his spine crawlers down a little bit, so he's watching both of these entrances here. Does leave Tasteless's secret hallway here at the top left-hand corner a little bit exposed. Shouldn't be too big of a problem. But it looks like Nerchio wants to go out and meet this. Oh no, he didn't account for the Hellions though. And look how quickly those Zerglings went down. So sixjaxMajOr manages to do so much damage. He is ahead in supply once again, and he is behind a worker, so that is all an army at this point. He is going to go right after Spine Crawler number 1. Spine Crawler does fall, and it looks like there are roaches. Roaches and queens are pretty potent against the relatively unupgraded Marines and the Blue Flame Hellions. However, there are just so many units out now for old Ghost of Terran that it's going to be hard for him to, or that he should still do quite a bit of damage. He manages to take out a couple of queens there. In fact, Nerchio just down to 1 queen at this point. But he does have all of these roaches and should be able to move out and take out the Hellions, unless the Hellions were just looking to slip around. Nerchio playing very patiently, though. Ooh, nice job to watch out for the... Oh, no! I thought he was going to be able to save the drone. But, of course, Major gets in there, does kill the drone, and manages to prevent construction of the hatchery for quite a while. So it looks like Nerchio is going to send another drone around. However, all of these Hellions are making their way through Tasteless's secret hallway. Gonna make his way back now. Very nice reaction time out of Nerchio, but he still manages to lose a couple of drones. Oh no! He gets them all grouped up there. Loses another 4 drones. So Nerchio is back in supply, and now he's actually back in pure worker count. Major is well prepared with a couple of supply depots over on the right-hand side through John the Translator's Common Knowledge Hallway. And looks like he is now starting to establish a 3rd base of his own. It looks like we're in store for a pretty good macro game, but sixjaxMajOr has been keeping a pretty good advantage. His tech isn't all that bad either. He is on siege tanks with siege mode. He has a couple of upgrades coming up for his bio, and he has a starport on the way as well, and macroing quite effectively. So, looks like he's in a good spot. Nerchio, he does have his infestation pit up with pathogen glands being researched. And this is something that we didn't see out of Dark Cell when Major played him. We saw this heavy marine tank composition. There were just no infestors to be found whatsoever. So, Nerchio, playing a little bit more intelligently, does have his infestors ready to rock. One Marine going to try and deny that hatchery for a while. Scan goes down. A bunch of creep units get picked off. That's actually almost all of the creep that Nerchio had made. And we'll see what Nerchio decides to do, because sixjaxMajOr has quite a force. It looks like he's going to pull back for the time being, content with just killing as much creep as possible. So Nerchio will need to use a queen to start dropping down some tumors again. We'll probably need to see continued queen production as well. Just 2 on the field with a 3rd coming up. And let's see here. Nerchio ready to bring up some infestors. Has 5 on the way. Back here on sixjaxMajOr's side of things, he does have double tank production. And he is making quite a number of Marines at the same time, in addition to producing his medevacs. So he is going to establish his gold. Will make his economy look quite good. Of course, Nerchio is going to do the same thing, which is a good decision. You always want to stay 1 base up on at least on a Terran or Protoss opponent if you're a Zerg player. And looks like poor Major is going to have most of his Marines surrounded. Those all go down. Nerchio has temporarily retaken the supply lead, but he'll need to, because of the cost effectiveness of his units, will need to establish a much higher supply than his opponent. Ooh, nice. If he swings around here to the bottom right, he will see a couple of supply depots. There's a couple of roaches ready to attack in with that as well. Looks like a little drop coming in here for Major. The first wave of it did manage to kill the queen, but the rest of the units were killed. And looks like Nerchio is going to come right back. And most of those units are going to die. Major picks himself up, though. And here we go. Major's going to lose a couple of supply depots. And even if he reacts right now, the supply depots are going to fall. And that does supply cap Major quite a bit. And a lot of workers going down. Oh, if he goes right after these supply depots, that would be critical. But it looks like a few Marines are being pulled now. 1 supply depot is all that's gone down. 2 supply depots have fallen now. Is he going to be able to get a 3rd? I don't know. Looks like he is going to run by and go straight into the main, though. Should be able to pick off quite a few units. Nerchio running down with a few more units as well. Quite a few SCVs falling. Marines now being sent in to reinforce. Unfortunately, another SCV doesn't fall. And Ghosty Terran actually has pulled a supply advantage. Taking a look at the units tab, 71 workers to 60. But Major already has control of his gold. However, I like how Nerchio is going to another base, yet another base. And it looks like Major is going to start healing up his units here with the relative safety of these bushes. And here we have a big attack coming in. Neural Parasite, though, is taking over a ton of tanks. This is beautiful out of Nerchio. Nerchio was able to take out so many of those tanks. And he has just killed most of the tech army there out of sixjaxMajOr. He's got to kill that last tank. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful play. However, all these Marines coming back. Nerchio is going to have to cancel that hatchery. Hopefully he knows it's under attack. I don't know if he does or not. Okay, there he goes. Cancels it. And at the same time, he is going to attack. He's got some energy left on these units. Fungal growth's going down. The Zergling's going to come in as well. Probably put up a couple of infested Terrans here in a second. Fungal growths are doing more damage, though. And sixjaxMajOr is pulling back to the cover of his medevacs, but so much economic damage being done. These infested Terrans now getting in here as well. And this base could very well fall. But it looks like Major is going to be able to stabilize, though, with the loss of a good portion of his units. Unfortunately, old Nerchio doesn't have the ability to drop down any more fungal growths. He is going to lose most of his very, very precious infestors. He'll have to reproduce those. But he does have Greater Spire coming up in addition to melee attacks level 3, so he is going to have a very powerful force of Broodlords when the time comes. Finally transferring some units over to the gold. Take a look at the income tab. Ghosty Terran was behind in economy. Nerchio, though, probably doesn't want to engage on this open ground. He's got to get away from these Marines. These Marines doing so well, and once again we see sixjaxMajOr pulling back in supply. Zergling's coming to try and do some damage, but Major pulls up, didn't lose a single unit there. Spine Crawler coming up. He's going to need vision of the high ground, though. Let's see, our first Corruptors are making their way out. Still about 30 seconds till that Greater Spire finishes. Nerchio, on the other hand, he's got a big force of roaches, but they are relatively unupgraded. Major, though, surprisingly, is still only on 1-1 upgrades and +1 weapons for his siege tanks. Very nice split of siege tanks, though. He's going to be able to cover all attack lines. Brilliant line of siege tanks. And he is finally putting up his 4th base as well. He's finding himself running low on minerals. Is he mined out of his main? Almost. Quite low on minerals at the natural as well. Relatively low on the gold. Back here on Nerchio's side of things, he does have his gold well under production now. He's got to watch out for this big drop, though. Drop's going to make its way in. A few drones are going to die, but the Zerglings will react in plenty of time. All the rains do fall, but there's another drop that goes in. Over at the main. And Major manages to clear off the Greater Spire, I believe. Greater Spire does go down. That was just a distraction. In fact, Major even distracting me. Major. So be him. So let's see. Finally, +2 weapons coming up now for old Major. But it looks like Nerchio wants to force a big engagement. Manages to get off a couple of neural parasites as well, so the tanks are working against Major. Most of the support forces have gone down, but there is a planetary fortress here. These Broodlords, though, pretty good positioning. And they were able to sit back range, do quite a bit of damage, but unfortunately there's nothing stopping these Vikings from getting in and exacting their revenge. And these Broodlords are going to fall so long until the next Greater Spire comes up. 50 seconds until the Spire finishes, and then another 100 seconds until the Greater Spire comes up. There are some Corruptors, though. Those weren't actually brought in to help. Broodlords did their damage, but sixjaxMajor is up in supply. Although there are a ton of resources banked for old Nerchio. Looks like he's going to put up a bunch of infestors. But he only has 3 queens on the field. And really, oh my god, he's out of larvae. He needs to be able to put down about 100 Zerglings at the same time. But simply can't do it, and he's just banking resources after resources after resources. Tanks are going to fall pretty quickly. Oh wow, but sixjaxMajor brings up reinforcements. Not much in the way of carapace upgrades. Finally, level 2 coming up now for Nerchio. And let's see, a couple of tanks going down, but the loss of Zergling life has been pretty remarkable. Major is able to pick up a lot with these Vikings. Oh my god, and Overlords are going to start going down as well. Fungal growth does go down on a couple of these Vikings. Looks like all the Vikings are going to be cleared up. It's going to give any sort of consequence of Broodlords that come out a lot better ability to survive, but no Greater Spire on the way yet, so it's going to be a while before any sort of Broodlords come up. More Corruptors being constructed, another hatch being produced as well, a macro hatch. And wow, sixjaxMajor with the positioning, these tanks just not allowing any units or Nerchio to get in. Nerchio finally is going to be able to take down this. No, he's not going to be able to take down. He was whittling away at all of those forces, not really killing any of them. And here comes Major one more time. That hatchery is going to fall. Forces being brought around the side is a little bit of a distraction. At the same time, though, big Zergling run by. Immediately, we see a liftoff. A bunch of SCVs are going to fall, though. And Major, to Nerchio's credit, is not really going to be able to do all that much mining. So if Nerchio can find a way to produce 1 billion Zerglings, she did just produce quite a few. He will be able, if he can just keep denying Major's mining over and over and over again and whittle down his forces, he actually could be in an okay position. Bunch of Banelings coming up now. Major's bust through the planetary fortress. But Major still has a big siege tank count ready, plus 2 weapons upgrades. So like a Bioforce gets through. Oh no, Nerchio is forced to bring back all of his drones. And those are not going to be all that effective. Pulling back now, Zergling's coming in. The Zerglings should be able to take out Major's first round of forces, but not the second round. The Zerglings are going to fall. A few Marines do die. But the next set of Banelings is going to have to come through. Looks like a few actually explode on the command center. And unfortunately, this hatchery did finish, which means it might very well fall. Oh, but here come the reinforcements from Nerchio. And Nerchio's going to be able to take down a few of those forces. Trying to get the medevac in there as well. Got so low on health. And no energy to speak of whatsoever. So now Major is almost out of mining, but to his credit, Nerchio, well, I guess he has 1 base of mining. And 1.5 at the moment. He's transferring over some more drones. So he's doing 1.5 bases of mining. Oh, very nice job by Nerchio here. Does manage to neural parasite a couple of those siege tanks. Forces going down. Oh, man. And now sixjaxMajOr feeling the hurt. He's not able to produce anything else. He has less than 50 resources. Minerals, I should say. He is going to establish another base one more time, but already neural parasite going down. Here come all of the Zerglings. And the Zerglings are going to get torn up by the planetary fortress, but not before they kill quite a few tanks. That is going to leave this mining undefended. Look at that Zergling. Has 8 kills! Hero Zergling! And that is going to force sixjaxMajOr out of the game. No GG. So sixjaxMajOr does leave the game. And Nerchio takes game number 1. A game in which he was down at several points and managed to claw his way back. Very great game played by Nerchio. We're going to head into game number 2 in just a second, folks, so don't go anywhere.